Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Fateless podcast episode. Joining me, we have got Yuho, Isabella, and Garrett. So, Yuho, I know you've been here a few times by now, and I'll kind of let you start things off. But in this one, we're going to be talking about some of the stuff involved with QA and testing. And first, we're just going to kind of let you all introduce yourselves quick. So I'll start with you, Yuho.
Hey guys, I'm Juho, also known as Cramps or Crouching Grandpa from Discord. I started as a community manager, then I don't know if it's a promotion or I just got shifted around a little, and I've been working QA for I want to say 6 months, I think, maybe a bit longer. And honestly, it's been a blast. Like the people I work with are super awesome and doing well
Awesome.
so far.
Yeah, thanks, man. And then Isabella.
Hello, you guys. I'm Isabella. I've been working as a QA in the GODFORGE project, I think, since 2023, the last few months. I started just to catch a few bugs here and there, and then just continued in the project because it's super awesome.
Awesome. Thanks. And then Garrett.
Yes, I'm Garrett. I started in the GODFORGE project about at the beginning of 2025, though I've got several years of QA experience beforehand with a bunch of other games. Mainly started just to catch bugs and validate the work of a couple engineers.
There you go. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for joining us to talk about some of the stuff involved with testing GODFORGE and everything that's going on. So, you, I'll pass it to you. Did you have something to kind of kick us off here and a hot topic to start with on the QA process or things people would be curious about?
So yeah, being Fateless and Godforge, I think our number one asset and number one strength is still community, and it's just insane how much things players catch and how much players report and how much they care. And being involved in the QA process, we get I want to say about 2,000 tickets in total per alpha phase, and going through those is a lot. And it's just insane how much players find that we don't catch. And I like the saying that no amount of QA can match the combined strength of 10,000 nerds. And it just goes to show itself every single time, and it holds true. And it's so cool to see that the players actually care and player give really good quality reports as well.
Yeah, thanks. And can you walk people through maybe what that was like in alpha testing? So during the waves, a player would notice a weird interaction or a bug or something crazy that shouldn't be happening. Then they would submit a ticket on Discord, and then does that go somewhere in the Fateless Discord, and then you kind of navigate that task out to people? What is the QA process for someone who's not familiar with testing games?
So on the first round with Alpha, we had Discord tickets, and we really quickly realized that it wasn't the play. It became way too difficult to sort through the tickets and find duplicates because a lot of things are duplicates. Like everybody who played Alpha knows Pink Tristan, and we must have had at least 100 reports that Tristan is summoning this pink wall, and it became really apparent that people are super keen in reporting those issues. And later on, we migrated into a service desk that's a lot easier for us to navigate, and it's really easy for players as well. They just click a button, put a bug title, any attachment they have, and then later on we can sort through those tickets and search for something like ping Tristan. Okay, there's 80 reports, but we only need to process it once.
Yeah, for sure. And then what for like early access, and the next time people that can play GODFORGE, how has that system evolved, and what can players expect that to be, and maybe like what is the expected timeline? There's something like an ultimate not working correctly. Is that going to be a day, a week, a month? Does it depend on the bug? Obviously, some are way more complicated than others. If one of you could kind of expand on that a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, so the way that ends up typically working is it's based upon the severity of the bug itself. A good example would be we had what the community referred to as Immortal God King Hercules, which was a bug with Hercules as passive, where he would die, revive himself, die, revive himself. Every single time you killed him, he would revive himself. And it became borderline impossible to kill him. Unfortunately, as he was a boss on a level at the time, this caused, or he was a minion of a boss during one of the boss levels at the time. This caused it to make it borderline impossible to complete that stage unless you eliminated everyone else first. and then him. So it facilitated having to that was a faster fix, simply due to it blocking a massive amount of people. Meanwhile, something like Pink Tristan, as a good example, while it was not exactly awesome and a little frustrating to have pink blobs appear every time you used his ultimate, it didn't impact gameplay and it didn't block anybody from anything, so that one was allowed to wait a couple weeks. Meanwhile, God King Hercules was taken out within a few days.
Yeah, and for anybody who wasn't there for Alpha, Hercules has a passive that will basically prevent his death and then revive him to full HP. It's supposed to have, I believe, like a 3 or 4 turn cooldown. But what you're saying is that cooldown wasn't occurring properly and he was just reviving every death. So yeah, there's gonna be some that are just visual and there's gonna be some that literally break the game. And so you as a QA team, you're having to kind of sort through these thousands of tickets and almost like rank them, right? Like this is the most important, and then this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and then kind of go from there and distributing the workflow of repairing it, right?
Yep. Yeah, a good
Yeah.
example of like a 1 would be something that completely blocks all access to the game.
Just basically, we have the severity, which is what us as QA see the issue, and we think, okay, this affects the game in a certain level, in a certain degree, and we select the proper severity that we think, considering mostly our own experience with the game and other experiences with other games. And once the bug is created, it goes through a triage, and in this triage, it's selected the priority depending on which is the goal for that sprint. So not all of the time a bug that has a high severity is going to be high priority as well. It depends on the sprint. It depends on what is the focus of that week, which are the functionalities that we're working on that week and that we want to finish during that week. So sometimes we could have a bug that has a high severity that is going to be only fixed in the next week because of the focus of that sprint.
Cool. Okay. And there might be people listening who would love to be a QA tester or love to get into the video game industry and dip their toe in those waters at some point. What is like the typical workday, work week of a QA tester? Somewhere like GODFORGE. Is there a goal in mind, team wide? Like, hey, we're gonna dive into this area of the campaign and we're gonna slam this with and try to see if we can figure out something, or do you just play the game in general and kind of report what you're finding? Yuho, could you maybe walk through what someone could expect on like a normal workday, work week of what's expected of you over the course of like 30 or 40 hours?
So yeah, usually we have a set amount of tasks every day. We gather certain logs from the game, like is this area working, is this area working, and we always do a quick playthrough, like every single major area. Does everything work? Does anything have like really major bugs that needs to be addressed right now? We pass those on, and then we have, I want to say, between 3 and 5 topics every single week that we work towards. Like this week we have weapons, ascension dungeons, we have hero validation, and there's a couple extra as well. And we always try to get to those tasks as well. But also QA life is kind of fun in the way that there's always something coming up every single day. Every single day is a bit new. There's always something breaking or something weird happening or something that needs investigating then and there. And that's really what makes QA fun. Like, I think every single person who works in QA enjoys those things the most, that just sort of come out of the blue and require a lot of focus then and there. And then it becomes like this investigative secret police process where you just try to find the issue at hand and try to do it fast.
Awesome. And then any of you could speak on this, but yeah, what are some of the skills, like if somebody did want to be part of QA or did want to get into that industry, what are some things you've learned where, from the beginning it's like, okay, this skill would have been very important. Is there certain programs they should know or certain abilities they should have with Excel or spreadsheeting or certain things that help, or is it just experience, testing games and breaking them? Is there anything that would be a specific skill someone should really hone in on to help them kind of in the QA industry?
Actually, all of those are great skills to have. Spreadsheet abilities are very useful for planning different types of test cases. Meanwhile, being able to hunt down and find bugs is kind of the bread and butter of the position itself. That's why I always encourage anyone looking into getting into QA to look into speed running. There's a lot of overlapping skills in that hobby that apply to QA that are very beneficial. But yeah, basically learning how to properly use Excel to make test plans, test cases, and mark them down, knowing how to operate, at the very least, OBS for visual reproduction media, just getting visual reproductions, and just having a good grasp of your basic Office suite is also very useful for writing up any form of documentation. There's a lot more documentation in the job than most people would ever realize.
I've
Yeah.
learned that from the design side as well. Go ahead, Isabella.
No, just saying, I think that one of the skills, soft skills that someone would have to have is patience, because we go through the same area of the game a lot of times, and it's so different from just playing, just having fun around. Testing, we're actually just focusing on that specific functionality, and we need to look at with different eyes. It's not just, oh, I'm playing this game and I'm having fun, and I beat this boss and this is cool. We need to check all of the little things, the little details on that functionality, and we need to do it a lot of times. It's not just once, it's not just twice. So I'd say patience is a very important soft skill. And also you need to be very organized, because like the other said already, we're doing a lot of things at the same time, and we need to be very organized so things don't get confused, with a lot of documentation, with a lot of testing. So I'd say, in my experience, these two skills are very, very important.
Awesome.
I would say for me, the most important skill that I have is that I'm able to learn new things by myself. Like I can identify that, hey, this is something I need to know, and this is how I'm going to learn it. For example, if my Android game is crashing for some reason, I can teach myself how to find those logs why the game is crashing and how can I make it crash again. And there isn't necessarily anybody holding your hand. It's just something you need to be able to figure out. And it's relatively simple, but also you need to have that mindset that this is something that I need to figure out myself, and this is how I can do it, and this is also worth my time. Because time is a key asset as for every single role in game development. If you waste a lot of time in something that isn't really worth your time, then that's also as bad as anything else.
Awesome. And something people might be curious about is, as we move forward, prepping for early access and trying to get the game out to players' hands, how much better in terms of like, optimization and being smooth and having things fixed, how much better, I don't know if it's something you can speak on from your end, but how much better can people expect that experience to be in early access compared to alpha? And like, are you confident at the rate we're able to kind of identify things and then knock it down and fix it and move on to the next thing? Are those two topics kind of, going well so far in your mind?
I would say that they are going really well. There is still work to be done, and there's people actively working on those areas right now. For example, when the game launched, I had a lot of difficulties playing it on my mobile phone. But right now, there's no issues. Sure, the FPS could be a lot better. There could be some performance changes in certain animations, things like that. But it's not crashing on my mobile. I can play it for a couple of hours easily, and the game isn't gonna stall. It's not gonna do anything weird. So there's definitely been a lot of improvements. And as the development cycle goes on, we will also keep improving all the time. So it's just going to get better and better and better. And over time, we will be able to support more devices as well.
Cool. And did either one of you have anything to add on that in terms of how the workflow is going right now, and kind of how fast things are moving and how much better people can expect it to be for early access compared to alpha?
Oh, yeah. You have pretty much covered everything involving how we've got plenty of people working in the background to get it all through. I would say people should definitely expect it to be a lot better than it was during alpha. As a good example, the ability to summon is back in, so you're no longer getting your heroes via completing combat. You are now able to get them via the intended summoning system using the aptly named GODFORGE. Um, we've had the addition of multiple new areas for people to play in, so I would personally say that it's going to be quite a bit different than what people experienced during alpha.
Yeah,
In a
and
good way.
mostly I think and mostly I think that the battles are going to be way better, and people are going to have a lot of fun playing the battles, because now we're trying to get to that point where um you're going through the battles and it's not too difficult, but it's not too easy. So there's that challenge that people like, and also it's not impossible for you to pass from one stage to another. That it's kind of frustrating. So we're trying to balance that, and I think we're going to have a lot more fun playing that.
Awesome. Has there been anything that people would have recognized from alpha? That was like, wow, this was really hard for us to fix. This was really hard for us to pin down and get right, and it was constantly coming up in testing. Was there anything like that that people maybe would have recognized?
There was an issue during the third wave of alpha in which people were not getting their heroes or reward drops until after they had restarted the game or they'd gotten another set of reward drops. People would probably recognize that very quickly because on your first battle, you weren't getting anything. Now you are.
Yeah. And I remember something, from playing in the alpha. It seemed like the longer I played, there was like memory leaks, and it would kind of like slow down over the course of time if I had the game up for 10 hours. So you'd have to, if you were
Yeah.
gonna like farm for a long time, AFK, you'd want to put it on like 1x. So that way that would mitigate how laggy it's gonna get, and then like restart it your next play session. Can people expect stuff like that to be alleviated a little bit? Was that something you were all noticing during testing or anything like that?
Yes, we have.
Definitely. Yeah, we have been testing that a lot. Mostly because in all alphas we had a lot of players complaining about the game crashing or black screens or memory leaks, and we tried to pinpoint all of those issues, and we're testing that a lot so that players can enjoy playing a long time and farming and doing all of that without any crashes, any blockers. So we're testing that a lot.
Yeah, nice. Go ahead, Yuho. Is there anything else I'm not thinking of that maybe people should be excited because it's been noticed? Not just the memory leaks, but is there anything I'm kind of like not remembering that would be a lot better?
I would say overall the animations look a lot better, the heroes look a lot better. There's going to be a lot more environments to look at. It's not going to be just the same cavern stage over and over and over. There's going to be campaign, there's going to be dungeons, there's going to be bosses. There's a lot of things to look forward to for sure. And it's kind of funny actually, coming back to the memory thing. Like usually in game development, the expectation is that player plays like in a linear path where they are doing quest after quest after quest. And if there's somebody coming into this genre from like AAA games or MMOs, and you explain to them like, we need the system to be so robust that a player can repeat this stage for 20 hours on repeat and never stop. And it's always the same response, like why would player ever do that? That's terrible. But that's just the nature of gacha gaming and mobile games in general. Like you do the same task over and over and over.
Yeah. Well, and also there is a lot of changing to it. Like if I run pits in Diablo 4 or I run rifts in Diablo 3, the stage is changing every time. Even though I'm doing the same task, it's different enemies and there's randomization and there's going back to town to sell gear and like screens shift. Whereas in our game, you're running the dungeon over and over and over. So and kind of grinding it out. So you're right. It is a little bit different, and I'm sure it presents different challenges in terms of memory leak. Is that true? Like, is it a little bit tougher to kind of fix that and prevent that in a game like GODFORGE compared to, like you said, maybe an MMO or an ARPG where you're running around doing different tasks and stuff like that?
I would expect it to be a bit harder. I'm not a game dev myself, but the way that system is constantly disposing of and creating new instances of the same map, it might get a little bit confusing because you aren't moving to other areas where the system clearly knows that, hey, this is a new thing you're doing. And like it just has to be so robust that you can do it forever, basically.
Awesome. And then for early access, the next time people are able to play the game, if they do notice something, what's going to be the steps that we have in place as the new kind of workflow? You know, let's say somebody watching this and they're like, "Oh, I'd love to help." You know, the next time I'm playing GODFORGE during early access, should they be in the Discord doing something or pursuing getting a certain role in Discord, or what would be the steps for someone that wants to help and be involved?
Discord is definitely the main place to be. If for nothing else, it's the place you will always get the most up-to-date information on anything you want to know. There's a lot of moderators, there's a lot of community managers that will answer any question you have, or almost any question. And it's likely with bugs and communication between QA and players, it's likely going to be quite similar to Alpha 3, where you would submit a bug report through a service desk. I'm not sure if there's going to be any drastic changes, especially when it comes to the player-facing interface. There might be some on the back end, but players will never notice those. It's just something that we will change in our own internal processes to make it a bit easier for us.
Awesome. Well, I don't want to just fire my questions at all of you. You all would know more than I do about QA. Is there anything that would be interesting to discuss that I'm not asking about or I'm not kind of portraying from your perspectives that you think would make a good topic?
I think it's a good topic how QA needs to be the final barrier for anything that gets into the game. If anything looks bad, feels bad, doesn't work well, you have to like be brave, and even to your highest bosses you have at any job you'll ever have, you have to be brave and say like, hey, this is bad, this can't go in, we have to do this and this. And if you are lucky like we are, the bosses listen. Like we have awesome people leading the team, leading the company, and if I go DM Simon that, hey, this is actually pretty bad, we need to fix it, he's gonna be okay, let's fix it. And like there's really this open and honest communication between QA and the leadership, for sure.
You mean I'll design like the abilities for a hero and you'll get the hero and you'll be like, what has Brad done? Like, this is not gonna work. This is a crazy ability. We can't do this. Send him back to the drawing board. Like, has that something like that ever happened, or do you remember kind of an instance like that?
Yeah, I can remember a really good instance of that. A great combo would be the Divinity generators for Anubis and Hercules. When combined together, you can effectively get infinite there was a point where you could get infinite ultimates because they both have a habit of recharging each other's attack ultimates almost near instantaneous. Or for a while with Odin's original passive, which anytime he killed an enemy, he'd get an additional turn. This allowed him to do what I called rotary phone Odin, where he would get so many turns back to back when combined with most other any hero that was specialized in damage dealing, that it would cause Odin to get so many turns back to back that he would sit there and move like a rotary phone, and then that would immediately charge up the ultimates for any other hero. So you would never allow the enemies a turn, ever.
Yeah, we did have a lot of Divinity Ultimate type issues and infinite Divinity teams, and those systems were really broken a lot during Alpha 1 and Alpha 2, and the generators and us trying to have a different way, instead of like usually these games boil down to, just build speed, just go as fast as you can, and we're trying to introduce a system of ultimates where there's a different mechanic involved with how powerful your turn cycle is. And that has presented a lot of challenges for sure in the different waves of Alpha. And I think the Anubis one and the Hercules one, that was based on like they had a generator where they would get divinity on killing an enemy, right? And so then an enemy dies and they both get ultimate and they both just keep cycling.
Yep. And Odin had one that would generate him whenever he stole turn meter, which unfortunately was happening with his basic attack as well. So Odin was also charging himself with every attack.
Yeah, nice. And what about you, Isabella? Is there anything that I haven't asked that you think would be interesting to make sure people know or share or discuss?
I think that Yuho touched a very nice subject here, because QA is really the last barrier between the game and the launch of the game, the development of the game and the launch of the game. Because we're there, we're receiving lots of new implementations every day, and we're testing all of it, and there's so much to test, and sometimes you need to just be brave and speak up and say, okay, this is not nice, it's not cool, and it's difficult, I think, for someone that's new on the QA area, because there's always that little you're scared of saying things, and you think, well, maybe I'm just thinking it wrong, maybe I'm not seeing the game correctly, maybe I'm wrong. But the great thing about this team is that we talk a lot, not only QA, but between other teams. So when we have any questions, when we're starting to think, okay, maybe uh, this is not fun for the player, we can just speak up, and people will listen to us, and we'll discuss. And not every time will be correct. Not every time the things will be changed. The functionality will be changed. But just having that conversation is what makes the game better, and what makes this team really nice to work with. Because man, we talk a lot. We talk a lot about every functionality. You should see the QA channel in Discord. Oh, we talk every minute, every day. We're just sending lots of messages and sending a lot of fun bugs. We have some really funny bugs that we wish we could show you guys. Like some characters just making some weird animations, like they're dancing. Some characters that they're missing their pants. So those bugs are really fun to watch.
Yeah, amazing. And so do you have like a daily meeting where you all meet up for 30 minutes and be like, I'm working on this, this is what I'm noticing, or is it more of like a weekly thing where you all just kind of distribute the tasks and then we meet up on Friday and kind of discuss how the week went? How does that workflow typically go kind of within testing GODFORGE, and in terms of like people meeting up and discussing things face to face and syncing and all that?
Meeting we have every Monday, right, guys? I think every Monday, so it's weekly. But whenever we feel like we need to discuss something that is more urgent, we can always create a meeting or go through Discord and talk through there. But like I said, we're always sending messages, so we're always in touch with each other. But to discuss what we're gonna do, what we did, and check if everyone is on the same page, we usually go through the weekly that is on Monday.
Cool.
And on a
Okay.
daily basis, we do have a small stand-up thread that we do use to communicate to each other, but that's just a small textual thread, not anything meeting-like.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm terrible at filling my stand-up. I should do it. I've probably filled it 3 weeks ago last time. I feel like I talk so much that everybody always knows what I am up to without sending anything extra.
That's funny. I'm same way you. I can relate. I got to remember to pipe down and be quiet for a little bit every now and then. But so one thing we do like to ask as we kind of get closer to the time when we're wrapping up, when people are on the channel for the first time, is a hero that the public doesn't, like not Zeus, like not a hero that the public knows is in GODFORGE. Do you have a favorite hero from mythology that you, if it was up to you, if you were one of the founders, you would be like, I would have this hero in GODFORGE, because it's just
Boy,
such a cool, such a cool myth or legend or anything. Isabella, do you have a favorite
that is not
lore?
in Godforge?
Yeah, one like not
I
like
was
Zeus or Athena, not one that people know about in GODFORGE. Is there one that is not in GODFORGE that you're like, if it was up to me, I would put this one in?
Well, since I'm from Brazil, so we have a lot of different stories here and folklore and things like that. And I was even talking to the guys, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, about some of the folklore that we have here. And I definitely tell them to add the Curupira, which is like a guardian of the forest here. And he has fire hair and his feet are backwards. and he's very strong. He's a very nice character, and I would really like to see him there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And then how about you, Garrett? Do you have one that pops out and comes to mind?
I did until recently, and then I found out they're actually going to be in GODFORGE, so I had to kind of change that a bit on the fly.
Well, don't leak that one if it's not
Yeah,
a public
yeah,
one
I'm not
yet.
leaking that one. If I had to choose one that isn't planned, and at least I don't think is planned because I don't think their pantheon is included, I'd go with Turok, the Son of Stone, from Native American mythology. Monster Slayer, hero, borderline invincible.
Now I thought I remember games as a kid. Was there games called Turok?
Yeah, they were
Okay.
loosely based on the mythology behind that character.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was like a dinosaur hunting game or something. I'm trying to think back of when I was like 10 years old or whatever, but
Yeah, the games were based in like a fictional fantasy universe based around dinosaur hunting and stuff. The actual mythological character, he was a Native American brave who did a lot of stuff. Killed several monsters.
Yeah, great answers. Love it. And Yuho, we've let you share yours before, right? Haven't we?
I think so, but now that I think about it, we don't really have like ghosts or wraiths or anything like that. I would like to see some sort of like wraiths in our game. Like they don't have to be human shaped, even like some sort of like weird flowing creature. Like that would be really cool to see.
We have one that I would shout out that comes off the top of my head as possibly. I have to tell you off camera because I don't know if we've leaked this yet, but it's actually one of my favorite heroes in the game. And someday I'll tell all of you. I think we knocked it out of the park with this hero. I think maybe Simon did show it in a video, but that's the tough part. When you have hundreds of heroes, I don't want to get fired. I don't remember like off the top of my head everything that has been shown and hasn't. That's what makes it tough.
I used to upkeep this list of heroes that we've shown, and there's so many that I just sort of gave up and try to be a bit more quiet instead. It's a lot easier to not say anything than try to pick your words carefully.
Yeah, it is funny being on that side of it. Well, hey, this has been awesome to kind of learn about the QA process, and gonna be a busy time for all of you coming up when early access finally gets into players' hands again, and it's gonna be bug reports flying in, and we appreciate all the work all of you are doing to help us really improve the game from alpha to early access. So thanks for taking the time to join me. And if you want to be involved with chatting GODFORGE or testing or reporting bugs or just kind of following what's going on in general, we'll have the link down below to Discord where we're super active in there updating you, and you can be involved with playing and testing and all that good stuff and kind of see what's coming. So yeah, thanks. And I will see you in the next Fateless podcast episode. Cheers.